midnight clear. So glad to have you listening in to the Mix Afternoon Drive. Of course, the Mix Afternoon Drive is always driven by Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland. You'll find them I-75 exit 20 or anytime at cleveland-nissan.com. Also got a special interview that we're going to be doing right now in our studios here. We're live on Mix TV and also on the radio. My special guest works for the Tennessee Highway Patrol. It's Trooper Willis Moore that is here with me this afternoon. Sir, how you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming by. Of course, I'm going to tell a story. I know that you were pulling in our parking lot there a few moments ago, and one of our employees, actually our producer of Mix TV, Austin, he had ran out to go grab some cables and things and made his way back in. He pulled in the parking lot. He says, I don't know if I did anything wrong, but a trooper followed me back in the parking lot.
He's good. He's good.
So, Austin, I just toed on you, buddy. But yeah, but you know what? That's the kind of respect I think we all need to have for our law enforcement officers. I mean that's what we should do. I know as a person, as a young person, when I was growing up, a police officer or a state trooper or anybody came in behind you, thought, okay, what have I been doing? Am I situated right? Am I paying attention? Am I weaving? You know, and that's just out of respect for the uniform and out of respect for what you guys do day in and day out, putting yourself out there in harm's way to protect us. And sometimes we forget that, but thank you for the job that you do.
Thank you for saying that.
That means a lot to know that you guys are out there taking care of us. Sometimes it's the other side where we maybe have done something we shouldn't have done, but nevertheless.
Sometimes it's that way, and so we just hope that it was a good encounter for all of us.
That's right. Well, Mr. Moore, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with being a part of the THP.
Well, I've been here going on 5 years. My first assignment out of trooper school was here in Bradley County. I still work here. Some of your listeners may have seen me around and about. I worked midnights here for about 2.5 years, and now I'm kind of back in rotation. I was a Chattanooga City officer for a while. Always found myself drawn to traffic enforcement amidst all the busy calls of the business alarms and the barking dog calls and shoplifters at Walmart. Turned out not to be my thing. I was into traffic safety and enforcement, and unfortunately I had a buddy of mine left work one night and was killed by an 18-year-old drunk driver.
Oh, goodness.
And that stuck with me throughout all my time, especially my youth and as I've gotten older. So that's something that is important to me and that I feel like I can contribute to society in that way to keep people safe.
Again, we're speaking with a friend of the station's here. He works with Tennessee Highway Patrol, Willis Moore. He's a trooper there, and coming in to not only give us some information about, we definitely want to talk about the upcoming travel season. I know we just came out of a very busy Thanksgiving weekend. I know that we want to kind of get prepared for the upcoming Christmas holidays, and that usually involves people traveling on the interstates and getting out and making those travels. What would you say to those people preparing for those trips in a few weeks?
If you're preparing for those trips in a few weeks, safety measures I'd say is keep a warm blanket, water with you, a gas can. This is in case you get stranded and you run out of some of those things, maybe some food. As far as your traffic safety, watch your speed. Don't text and drive. Wear your seatbelt, and please, if you're going to consume, get a designated driver. There's nothing worse than going to the door, knocking on it, and those folks already kind of have an idea because there's no reason a trooper would be at your house than to give that notification. It's the worst part of the job, and this time of year especially is the worst part of the job.
Yeah, I would say so. So great information there from Trooper Moore. One of the other things that you wanted to come and talk to our listeners about not only is holiday safety, of course, Christmas, and then New Year's, which is, I'm sure, a very busy time out there for what you just mentioned, adults consuming alcohol and things like that. So that was good information. But there is maybe some opportunities for people to get involved like you did.
Oh, exactly. We're looking for great men and women all across this state. Specifically, I'm here to recruit out of Bradley and Hamilton County for our Chattanooga area. We have an upcoming class in 2021, somewhere between April and June. Our application process will open up in January, and we're looking to fill several spots here in a lot of our local counties. a college degree is not a requirement. The starting pay is $31.53 a month in training, and it'll increase to $34.88 a month once you graduate. It's going to be about 20 weeks for the school. It takes place in Nashville. That's the bummer for those of us that are local. You have to go up there and commute, but your meals are paid for while you're there. You're getting paid. You're getting great training. You'll be in the best shape of your life more than likely, and you'll learn a lot of good stuff.
Well, what was one of the things that maybe I know a lot of times people think of whenever they get into any industry, whether it's being law enforcement or maybe in the radio, what are or two of the misconceptions that people would have about being in law enforcement? What does people say? Well, I thought if I was a law enforcement officer, this is what I would be doing.
I would think that you ultimately have control, and to an extent you do, but there are laws, one, that restrict things that you can do, and then there are policies that are in place to not only protect you but the motoring public or whatever the public may be. So I think some people think that they're going into it with possibly having more power than they really have. Now, you do have the power to control people's whereabouts. You have the power to take life, which is another bad part of the job, but that's a lot of responsibility to have.
Yes.
And some people can't handle that every day you don't know when you're leaving the house and you're saying bye-bye to mommy and dad or the kids, if that's going to be your last time walking out the door. And sometimes it takes a special personality to kind of get used to that, but it's a calling for some, and especially is for me.
Now, when you mentioned that not everybody can do that, what are some of the attributes you found that you had that helped you through this process?
I think being willing to be approachable, being willing to speak to people, because you're going to do a lot of talking, whether it's on traffic stops, at homes, things like this, public events. So you have to be comfortable public speaking, and you'll get there. And I think being a self-starter or being able to kind of do things on your own, especially as a trooper, a lot of our calls are self-initiated. Unless it's a crash or helping someone out on the interstate, we're just driving around looking to enforce traffic laws. So that takes a self-starter, and if you don't have that skill, this job in particular will be pretty difficult for you.
All right, so you talked about some of the things that would be an attribute to have. You talked about some of the pay scales and where people can get from the start to get going. What do they need to do? What's the next step?
The next step right now would be to go to jointhp.org. That's jointhp.org. And you'll sign up there, give your contact information, and as the hiring process begins to rev up in January, you'll get emailed, or if you put in your phone number, I think you may get a text message about the next steps to take in the hiring process to get you going.
And I'm sure that is probably a lengthy process. It's not something that you fill out the application, get a phone call, hey, you're in, come on down. I'm sure an extensive background check is part of it.
There's an extensive background check. You'll have to do the polygraph, which some people know as a lie detector test. There'll be a medical assessment. You'll meet with a psychologist or psychiatrist, I'm not sure which. They'll just evaluate you to make sure that you're fit for the job. People come into it with different trauma, different experiences. It doesn't rule you out. They just like to know where you're going to fall on the scale.
And as far as longevity, I mean, you look like a young man. What kind of age do you expect people to be able to hold this position? I mean, that's something that, you know, a lot of people, when they get into a career, they think, is this something I can do for the next 30-plus years?
This is a job that you can do for the next 30-plus years. I won't lie, some of the duty belt can be a little tough on you, getting in and out of that cruiser, which is why physical fitness is important and why it's a part of the hiring process. We like to make sure that people stay fit because it's going to help your life be prolonged, especially in this job. You're looking at about 30 years. Mandatory retirement, I believe, is 62, so there is no age. You don't age out. You can come to it at any age. I've seen people graduate the academy at 56, 57.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. They just something they always wanted to do, so they did it. Coming into it, you have to be 21 by the time of graduation, and that's the law for us here. And it's just going to be a good opportunity. A lot of different movement you can take in the agency, whether it's special ops or special programs, which is inspecting school buses and trucks and doing things about litter. We have a DARE program. You can work at the governor's mansion, so guard the governor, or be at the Capitol with the legislators. They're all over Tennessee. You can work any part of the state you can transfer to. It's just a great opportunity to see this state if you haven't.
It's good information. Again, we're speaking with Trooper Moore. He's here today, not only telling us about himself but about the job there with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, and then allowing you to know that there is opportunity for you and long-term opportunities, it sounds like, to where people can start at a younger age and be there for many years to come. And I think that's something as I think society has evolved somewhat, is that people start thinking about that. They want to get into something that has something they can do for years to come, not just say, well, this is a job I'm going to get into. It's going to lead to another job and to another job. This job sounds like it's something that's a solid foundation that you can put your years in and be very proud to be there.
Oh, very much so. A lot of great people to work with. There's a great structure. The first 10 years you're here, you get a mandatory raise every year for the first 10 years. That's your step. So you're going to make more money as you get here. And if it's something you think doesn't jive with you, there's no shame in leaving. We understand that. It's not for everybody once you get in and kind of figure out what it's about. And just to speak on the recruiting point, I will be in Chattanooga at the Hamilton Place Mall from 11:30 a.m. until 1:30 p.m. this Saturday, and then I will be at Northgate Mall in Chattanooga from 3 p.m. until 5 p.m. with a recruiting table. So folks that want more information, just to come chit-chat, say hello, we'll be there. We'll be happy to talk to you.
Again, we've been speaking with Willis Moore. He's a trooper for Tennessee Highway Patrol. And give us the contact. You just mentioned the locations they're going to be able to walk up and see you. Give us the website again and all that prudent information before we go.
The website is going to be jointhp.org. That's jointhp.org. And you'll fill out a little bit of contact information about yourself so that you can receive the updates as the hiring process gets underway beginning in January.
Anything else that we haven't spoke about that you wanted to get on the air this afternoon?
All I can say is that I'm passionate about this part of the job, too, is recruiting new folks to come and do it. I think it's a wonderful job. It's a great way to provide for your family, to contribute to your community, to keep people safe, to be seen, and just an overall ability to give back. I just was at the forefront of a food drive for us here in our 12 counties. We collected a bunch of food down there on Cummings Highway and have been giving it out. So it's not all about just enforcement. We do help the community as well. We're doing a toy drive in Coffee County. Collecting, it's called, I think it's Bears That Care, which is really cool. So there's other opportunities. It's not just enforcement. We can really make a difference in our community.
Well, it's great to see you, and thanks for keeping us safe out there, especially during these holiday times when there's a lot of traffic out there and people maybe doing some things they shouldn't be doing. Thanks for keeping us safe.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take just a quick break. We'll be back here to Mix 104.1 in just a moment. Stay here with us. 3:28 on a midweek Wednesday.